In 2009, the newly created Crest Girls Academy in northwest London became a national challenge school. For staff already dealing with organisational change, there is now pressure to raise results.
We've become an academy this year in September, and I think that the changes that we've had to face, and sometimes the uncertainty, the constant uncertainties we've had to face, have been quite demoralising for staff.
The pressures to reach targets is one of the biggest problems, and certainly with it relating to performance management and therefore potentially to performance-related pay, especially within an academy structure, this could increasingly be a problem for morale.
So much of what we do as teachers is not quantifiable, but increasingly we are only judged on the quantifiable aspects.
There's an awful lot of pressure on them to meet assessment targets, reporting targets, reporting to SLT, reporting to governors, and there's a lot of pressure.
I guess it's about the systems in place within the school to be able to cope, because inevitably we will face stress throughout our teaching career. You'll face it annually and you'll face it termly, and some teachers will, at some occasions in the career, face it daily.
A major innovation is the Staff Wellbeing Group, which meets with the principal every month.
The biggest thing that staff have mentioned to me, I've only commented on it once, but it's come from multiple members of staff, is the ICT problem, and people are saying that it's not possible to overstate how stressful and how important the IT problems are. All of these things cumulatively are causing huge problems and huge stress levels for the staff, I think.
We've dealt with things like low morale, we've talked about groups of things that we can do together, and keeping staff well-being issues at the forefront so that nobody gets left behind or upset. The governors would like us to consider and debate rewarding all staff each term who have got 100% attendance. This year we've had higher absence rates due to possibly stress-related either illness or issues in work or maybe even issues at home, which we're dealing with. But there's no doubt that the absence level this year is higher than any other year. We've debated whether we should be looking at celebrating good attendance in the academy by giving out certificates and prizes and awards.
I think it's really, really good, because often people who do put in extra effort and do, pride themselves on 100% attendance, it's a very personal thing. And I think some public recognition of that would be a real motivating factor.
I'm worried that it might not recognise just flat out hard work. If people do, it's back to the same issue. If people have had a day or so off because of illness, maybe even because of the amount of work they're putting in, it almost seems invidious to recognise 100% attendance, which doesn't recognise the amount of effort that people are putting in.
I really think that things are being addressed. It's just a matter of making sure, and it is, that it's communicated back to the whole staff so they can see things that are being resolved and improved, and that staff are being listened to, and that we do genuinely care about their well-being as well as their staff, their own personal development.
But even though this goes up on the board, I'm not really getting feedback from the wider staff. So Jim doing this for me has been great. It's really, really good. And any of you, it doesn't have to just be Jim. Any one of you, just keep feeding it back.
But it's not just Ofsted pressure and ICT problems that can affect staff morale.
Personally speaking, when I first arrived, I'd moved from a brand new facility where an interview I had students ask me, probably the toughest question I had was, what do you not like about our school? And I was very honest and I said, the environment, it's very hard to look at broken windows, leaks, water dripping on the stairs. We have very little flexible space. We also have very limited space. One example is in the playground when there's a PE lesson going on, when the bell goes, if that's a double lesson, the girls literally have to just stand and wait until the traffic moves out the way, and I can only imagine that must be very frustrating for the teacher and probably very frustrating for the students. But equally, as a new academy, we've spent a lot of money refurbishing floors, classrooms, walls. We've got a brand new student uniform that the students have chosen themselves. They've chosen their own logo, so that's going to put in a great deal of pride. I think it's very important to feel good where you come to work.
This time last year, the staff were given a budget and they were given a completely blank room to refurbish, redecorate and get ready for September. and they've changed all the furniture and they've updated it, they've modernised the kitchen, they've put in new lockers, and it was their doing, which was really fantastic. For the staff, it was really important to recognise that they mattered as well.
Central to the Academy's commitment to staff is the focus on CPD.
I've been leading a credit system where staff can be rewarded for the things that they share amongst their peers, and once staff accumulate various points for the work that they do above and beyond, they then would gain what we call a self-directed day or self-directed time. So then they're rewarded for the work that they're doing throughout the year. So we have that day coming up very soon, and a lot of staff are very excited, and they've planned various events, from visiting other schools to working in teams at home or on site, or even just staying at home and reading the TES. And we have sessions such as yoga. We might have ICT, email, learning good email practice. These are all our staff wellbeing workshops, and we have lots of staff training workshops. So we've had lots of different focuses.
I'm introducing this year an outstanding leadership programme, which will be Leaders of Learning, which is our teaching and learning aspect, so we can get outstanding teaching, and we want to get 5 to 6 teachers to nothing less than outstanding in the first year of those that aren't already, and then they will coach next year a new group of staff and lead them through outstanding practitioners' work.
We wanted to make sure that our staff are, number one, very happy where they work, and number two, they are trained, and number three, that they enjoy the work and they feel in a position where they are confident to be able to do their job well, and in the same position they can progress to the next level.